muñecas, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you guys can see by the title of the video, we're actually going to put to the test some of the mostly highly, is that how you say it? Most highly rated concealers. Those concealers that so many people brag about, that a lot of us are like, those are ride or dies, and they're so amazing supposedly for us with dark circles. So we're gonna put them to the test. To be honest with you, I have tried all of them already. The reason why I got inspired to create this video is because Alexandra Anel came up in my recommended videos, and she has a video called the best concealers for dark circles. Actually, I saw part 1 and part 2 already of hers, and I just thought it was an amazing idea how she actually put to the test concealers without foundation, without correctors, so that we can truly see how good the coverage is. In here I have some favorites, I have some that are so-so, and today, for today's video, we're actually going to be testing high-end concealers. So if you don't see a concealer that you're interested in knowing whether or not it's high coverage or full coverage, let me know and I will make sure to include it in the next video. Also, I am going to be doing a drugstore version of it as well, also inspired by Alexandra. She has a drugstore and a high-end video separately. So I definitely am very curious for myself because I really don't know which of these really has the highest coverage, like when you put it that way, like without corrector, without foundation under. So we're gonna put it to the test. I know I don't want to make this video super long, so without any further ado, if you're interested in seeing the coverage of all these high-end concealers that are supposed to be highly rated concealers, that are supposed to be the creme of the creme, the best concealers out there, then just stay with me and keep on watching. You guys can see we have no makeup on. You guys can really see my dark circles, and actually they look pretty good right now because I was tanning. I went on a mini vacation with the family, and when I get tanned, they don't look so bad. Skin right here gets a little darker, then of course it's not as a drastic change between the color of my under eye area to the color of my skin. So it looks a little better than it normally is. So I'm cheating already a little bit, but you guys can see that my dark circles, regardless, are pretty deep. They're very dark, and aside from that, they're pretty hollow, so very sunken in. It's just genes. So I always get comments saying that I should just get more sleep or whatever, but that does not work for me. Sleep, vitamins, creams, none of that works for me. These are genetics. These babies are genetic. All right, so I want to get started with some oldies. Actually, I've seen a lot of people that rave about the Tarte Maracuya Creaseless concealer. Honestly, I don't like this concealer because even though it says that it's creaseless, it really creases on me. But I still want to test out the actual formula and see if it's really high coverage, because a lot of people rave that this concealer is really high coverage. So we're going to test it out. It's in the tone Medium Sand. I'm going to put a little bit back here on my hand, and it's very thick. She's thick. Oh, he's thick. I do want to let you know that I did prep my under eyes with the Pixi Retinol eye cream. I love this stuff. It really helps me hydrate underneath my eyes, and it promises that it helps you smooth the area, which is honestly the only reason why I use eye creams, because they don't really work to lighten up the area. None, at least. I've never tried one that actually really lightened the area. It may make it a little tiny better, but no, honestly. So anyways, this is what I use underneath my eyes. Taking a little bit on my fingers, and then I'm gonna go right in. Alright, so that is very thick. So I'm putting it all over my under eye. This may be too much for some of you, but this is the amount that I normally take. And I always go in here because this part right here, I have like a lot of darkness here. I know that for some people that is scary because you get most of the creasing up there. But to me, in my opinion, I want to cover my dark circles, and that's the part that is the most darkest. So as you can see, it looks pretty high coverage just by me going in directly with my finger. So now I'm going to be taking a damped beauty sponge. This is the e.l.f. Camo beauty sponge, I think it's called. I love it. It's a perfect size for me. In my opinion, it's very similar to a beauty blender. Super soft, and I just think it's perfect for the under eye area. So I'm going to begin patting that blender like I would normally blend my concealer. I always start blending the area outside so that I can start melting with my foundation if I had any foundation. So I'm gonna go in now and blend. I don't want to blend too much, just enough so that it doesn't crease and so that it looks blended, right? But I don't want to remove too much coverage. I can see why this could be someone's favorite concealer. It's very nice, like the formula is very natural for those of you that can wear a concealer without having to set it. I think this is a very beautiful formula. It blended to my skin like nothing. Like you cannot even see a separation between my skin and the concealer. So it's very natural looking. It was looking very high coverage before when I only used my fingers. But as soon as I went in with a foundation, I feel that it took away a lot of coverage. So in my opinion, it does not look full coverage. I would say more it's like a medium coverage. I can still see the grayness underneath my eyes. I know that if I had used a corrector before using the concealer, that would look better. But regardless, on its own, I would say it's a medium coverage. But very nice formula for those of you that don't need to set it. And for those of you that don't have wrinkly under eyes. If you don't have fine lines, you'll be okay. For me, I already see it creasing over here. I don't know if the camera is picking that up, but that's the reason why I don't like this concealer, because I just feel that it creases on me like crazy, even though ironically it says that it's a creaseless formula. So I don't know, it might just be my under eyes, but in my opinion, you know, it just creases way too much. So now I'm going to move on with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. Everyone's favorite, or almost everyone's favorite. I am going to be testing it in medium. We all know that Tarte advertises this concealer as full coverage. So let's see. It's one of my favorites. I don't think I've ever tried it without foundation and without corrector, so that I can really test out how high coverage it is. So mine is right about almost done. I love the doe foot applicator. We all love that. By the way, I'm using it in the tone medium. So first I'm going to go in with my fingers like I normally would. And you guys can see immediately that this looks pretty high coverage. I love the texture. It's not over drying, for me at least. But it's dried enough, like it's not too wet. From experience with concealers are like these, they typically tend to crease on me. I don't know why, so I need more of a drier formula. So now I'm coming in with the sponge, and by the way, I'm using the side that didn't have concealer, and then blending up just a tad. All right, so there you go. That is the coverage. I say it's amazing. Like you can see, no concealer, right? So you can see the big difference. I look at myself close up. I can see a little gray cast underneath my eyes, but it's not crazy. I can definitely go outside like this and nobody's gonna be like, oh my god, your under eye area looks great. So I can use this concealer on its own. It has amazing coverage. I would say this concealer, it's definitely high coverage. And I mean, the amount that I apply, for me, it's decent. I know some people apply less, some people apply more, but for me, this concealer is just perfection. I love it. You can see that the creasing, I mean, I pretty much always crease. So there's like a little tiny crease right here. But if I go like that, of course, and then I set it, it would not continue to crease for me. So I do have to set this concealer and pretty much every concealer that I own. All right, so next we're taking it back. Yes, we are. I'm going to be testing the MAC Prolong Wear Concealer. This was my favorite concealer, and I think a lot of us favorite concealer for a very long time. I think up until the time when Tarte became popular. No. After that, I actually used the Naked Skin, the NARS Radiant Concealer. So there's a few. No, there were a few that actually knock you down, MAC. But this, I remember, it was amazing. Put a little bit on my hand. As you can see, it has like a little pump, which is not my favorite. And it is a glass container, which a lot of people used to complain because if you dropped it on a hard floor, it will break and make a mess. That, thank goodness, never happened to me. I purchased this concealer, I don't know how many times, a lot, probably more than 6, 7, 8 times. I don't know. Is that a number? All right, so I took a little bit and put it on my hands. And when I say a little, it's May not be a little for some of you, but for me it's a little. And now that I'm feeling it on my finger, it feels a lot more liquidy than I remember. But I'm going to go ahead and put it on the under eye, like so. All right, so this shade is obviously too light for me. This is a shade that I would use more to highlight, to brighten, but not without foundation. I definitely need a beat face in order to be able to use this shade right here. So now that I'm done just patting that, I'm going to go in with the beauty sponge and I'm going to take the other side that is clean. And now we're going to begin to pat it. Right now, it looks very high coverage. Very, very high coverage. It's covering everything. It's disappearing in my under eye area. So I always start blending down here first so that it starts melting into my skin, and then I go up. I love the formula of this concealer. It's super lightweight, more lightweight than I remember. I thought it was like, I don't know, but from what I remember, it was like super thick, and not at all. It's very liquidy actually. The coverage though, not gonna lie, it kind of disappeared. Like I can still see my under eyes. I can see the gray shadow underneath my eyes. I would say this is definitely a medium coverage, not full coverage like we thought it was. Sorry to break it to you, but it's not full coverage. The formula, I love though. It's very like lightweight. Kind of reminds me of the Shape Tape a little bit, where it's like drying but not too drying. So it looks very natural. And look, even though the shade was obviously not correct for me, not for, especially not a day that I'm not wearing foundation, it still melted into my skin. It kind of like disappears. So you can see that it blends very nice for someone that doesn't have really dark circles. This is actually a beautiful concealer, a beautiful formula. It's definitely my latest high-end purchase when it comes to a concealer. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna be testing it out today. I purchased it in the tone medium sand. Surprisingly, I didn't really like the shade. I think it's a little too light for me. Let me just show you really quick the applicator. I like the applicator. It reminds me of like a little gloss. All right, so let's go right in and apply what I would normally apply. All right, so as always, fingers first. Very light. It looks darker here on the packaging that it actually translates into the skin. You can see the separation between my face and the concealer, so it's not as blendable as the MAC Prolong Wear, but that is a good thing in my opinion because it doesn't disappear when you are blending it. So as you can see, they promise that it's a weightless full coverage concealer that uses hyaluronic acid and peptides to create a smooth, undetectable finish. I am not gonna lie, I really haven't been a fan too much of this concealer since I purchased it because I feel that it creases on me a bit much, and I can see it there just a tad, but honestly speaking, the coverage is pretty good. It's pretty good. The formula is not as thick as the Shape Tape, yet is kind of like sticky, if that makes any sense. So I feel that when you're blending it, it doesn't disappear like it happens with some other concealers. So as you can see, I would say this is definitely high medium coverage. I'm not gonna say it's super high. It's not as high as the Shape Tape, but it's definitely a high medium coverage. I can still see a little bit of a shadow underneath my eyes, but of course we already know the drill. We don't have a corrector, and the shade also that it's a little too light for me. Well, not a little, actually a lot lighter than me. Doesn't help with that as well. You can see it. It's pretty good. I really like it. It actually impressed me. I never imagined that it was going to be so good without foundation and without powder. So that is the Beauty Blender Concealer. All right, next we're going to be putting to the test the Jeffree Star Concealer. This concealer retails for $22. I believe. If it's otherwise, I will leave it somewhere here. In the shade C16. I like this concealer. It's a nice formula. It's not my favorite, but it's one of my top concealers, I would say. The shade is good, I think. I don't remember. The applicator is like a doe foot applicator, one of those that has like the little hole in the center, which makes it really nice because it holds a lot of product. So I do like the applicator. So let's put it to the test. I forgot that this shade is actually too dark for me, or just like the perfect shade if I wasn't gonna use foundation. I had a really hard time honestly finding the right shade for this concealer. I ended up buying two. One was too light and then the other one was too dark. So I don't know. I don't know if it was me. I didn't get lucky with that one. I think this is perfect for no foundation day. So now we're going to go in with the fingers, and you already know the drill. Let me just do this really fast. Just by blending with my fingers, the coverage is amazing. It looks amazing so far, but let's check it with the foundation. And again, I'm going to try to take a side that has no other concealer so that we don't mix formula. Very nice. The formula, I really, really like it. It blended with my skin perfectly. The color is perfect for no makeup day. So meaning a day that I'm not wearing foundation. I loved it. I love the shade. For that, the coverage, I would say it's more medium or light medium. The fact that it's a darker shade helps with the darkness a tad, also like correcting it. I still see the little gray forecast I forgot the word, you know, the grayness underneath my eyes a little bit, but I think it's a beautiful formula. I really like it. It looks very natural. I love it. I will definitely set it just a tad, even on a no makeup day, because I do see that right over here, it is starting to crease just a tad, but again, that happens to me pretty much with every concealer. Okay, so I watched a beauty blender. My under eye area is not going to be thankful after I'm done with this video, but sacrifices you make for your YouTube people. All right, so the next concealer that I want to try and put to the test is a lot of people's favorites. This is the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. Pretty sure this is like $29. Let me confirm that. It is exactly $29, and I have it in the tone Warm Beige, or shade Warm Beige. It's actually 0.5 fluid ounces, which is like half of the size of the foundation. So for $29, I think it's an amazing price. Love the doe foot applicator. It's pretty comparable to the Shape Tape, very large in size, and we're gonna test it out. So the shade is once again perfect for a no makeup day. And I actually have been using this one almost every day lately, for the same reason, because I am not really into using foundation daily. So that is pretty nice. So without blending it with a beauty blender or the beauty sponge, it looks pretty high coverage. But let's see what happens once we go in with a beauty sponge. I'm very impressed, not gonna lie. It looks amazing. I mean, I know I've been using it almost every day lately, but I've never, like, once you try concealers like back to back to back, and you can kind of see how they react and how they blend and how they work without foundation, without corrector, without powder, it kind of opens your eyes, like as far as the coverage and how you feel about concealer. And not gonna lie, this is amazing. Like, look at that coverage. I'm trying to show you all different angles, but coverage is pretty nice. I would say this is high. This is a low high. A low high. Hi, aloha. I like it. I really like it, and it blends perfectly into my skin, yet it maintains the coverage, which is amazing in my opinion. Amazing. I love it for no makeup days, for days that I'm not wearing foundation. It just looks beautiful. The formula is stunning. No wonder I didn't like it at first. I'm not gonna lie. I have a love-hate relationship with this concealer, but lately, when I don't use foundation, I fell in love with it when I tried it like that, and I've been using it every day since, to be honest with you, for like the last month or so. It does creases a tad. I can get away with not setting it. I don't set it every day. I've tried it without setting it in it, and it lasts. I mean, it starts moving after, sorry, I hit the microphone, starts moving after a couple of hours, but it does a pretty nice job. So I would recommend to set it at least just a tad so that it stays in place all day. But very nice. My dark circles, if they could speak to me, if they could do something to me, they will kill me, because right now they're burning. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dark circles. All right, so we're gonna go to the last, but certainly not least, left it for last on purpose. On my last video, I don't remember if I put it on my Spanish channel or on this channel. I don't remember, but I I did create a video with all my favorite concealers. I think I put it in both channels like I'm doing with this one. But anyways, I rated this concealer to be my favorite concealer. This is the Huda Beauty OverAchiever Concealer. I used it in the shade Graham Cracker. And in that video, I explained why is my top favorite concealer. And when you go to the Sephora website, by the way, it's $30. It says that it's a full coverage creamy concealer that is packed with skincare activities and a cooling Zamak tip. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But the main reason why I mix it and I don't use it on its own is because of the shade. The shade Graham Cracker is a little bit too warm for me. And I know that I'm warm, my complexion is warm, but it's just a little bit too warm. So I almost use it to create my perfect shade. But today we're going to test it on its own. This is the applicator. I normally don't go in directly from here, but let's do it like that. With my fingers, you can see that it covers 100% of my dark circles. I don't need a corrector with this one. Honestly, I don't. But of course, let's go ahead and blend it with a sponge and see the final result. This concealer, it's incredible. I don't need to edit my pictures with it. Anytime that I post on Instagram, most of the time I have to at least smooth out the area a tad of underneath my eyes for it to look presentable for Instagram. And I don't need to do that when I wear this concealer. Like, I swear, photographed so beautiful. It really has been my favorite. And you can see how good it looks on camera. I mean, you be the judge. You'll be the judge, but for me, this is my #1 concealer so far. I love the formula. I love it all. All right, so now that you guys saw all the concealers, I'm ready. I'm ready to tell you which is my favorite. I don't think it's a surprise. My top favorite is still continues to be the OverAchiever Concealer by Huda Beauty. I don't know, in my opinion, it has no comparison. After that, then we have the Shape Tape Concealer, and I'm putting them in order so you guys can see exactly what those look like. And then I would say it would be the Born This Way Concealer. Those are my top 3. After that, I would say probably the Beauty Blender Concealer would take the #4 place. Then the Jeffree Star, the Maracuya by Tarte, and then last but not least, it will be the Prolong Wear Concealer by MAC. That is it. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let me know what concealer you would like to see for me to try next. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Besitos, and I see you next time. Bye.